Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Laurynn and I make a whole bunch of crafting videos, but in today's video we are going to be creating something a little bit different. Today we are going to be recreating Jennie's shorts from the How You Like That music video. So if some of you guys aren't exactly sure what I'm talking about, I'm going to go ahead and insert a picture here so you guys can see what we're going to be recreating today. Blackpink always has some killer outfits that I would absolutely die to have, so this video is kind of going to be like Blackpink on a budget. So if you guys are curious on how I made these shorts, go ahead and keep on watching. So to start off, I firstly ordered a pair of blank black shorts. It doesn't really matter what they look like as long as they're fitted. These ones have pockets on the back and they also have buttons up at the front. If you guys want these same shorts, I'll have it linked in the description where I bought them. And here I'm just kind of giving you guys what they look like all around before I started adding the sequins onto them. And secondly, I ordered some sequins from Etsy. I will also have this link down below. This is kind of the closest color they had to Jennie's shorts. It's kind of like this greenish, bluish, turquoise color, although the color of Jennie's shorts are a lighter turquoise, but I think this one worked just as good. Then I also ordered some red sequins, and these I both ordered them in a fat quarter in case you guys are curious. And I'm also going to be using some black thread and a needle to sew on everything. So now I'm just laying the red fabric all over the shorts to kind of get an idea of how much fabric I'm going to be needing. So I decided to cut it off right about here where the turquoise starts, as well as along the band and at the bottom of the shorts wherever they end. And I also pinned down the fabric using some safety pins to keep the fabric in place while I was cutting. So now I'm just going to begin to sew all along this edge right here, and I'm just using some basic black thread and a needle. If you are not familiar with sewing or you have never sewn or threaded a needle before, there are tons of videos online and on YouTube for tutorials on how to do that in case you are a newbie to sewing. But I'm just doing a basic stitch all the way up, making sure not to pierce my needle through both sides of the shorts. When you start running out of thread or you have come to the end of your stitch, make sure you tie a knot at the end to make sure it is secure and doesn't come undone, and also just cut off the extra piece of thread. Here is what my stitch pattern ended up looking like when I was done. Definitely not the neatest, but it's okay because it's going to be covered anyways. So now we are going to move on to the side with the zipper, and I'm just cutting it down all the way through to the end of the shorts. So I'm separating the fabric into two pieces. This will make it easier to sew both of the sides on when we begin sewing. And I'm also just folding down all of the sides so that way we don't have any raw seams showing. And I'm just going to sew all along the top and the bottom. And here I have finished attaching the red fabric to one side of the shorts, and I made sure to stitch everything all the way you see here, except for the part with the zipper, because this one tends to be a little bit tricky because you're trying to avoid putting the needle through the zipper. But other than that, I just stitched it all the way down and I matched it up with the other stitches. And once I reach the end of my stitch, I always make sure to tie a knot and cut off the excess string. It's always easier to sew whenever you're keeping your area nice and neat and cutting off everything that's going to get in your way. And this is what the side looked like that I had just sewn here, and the other piece is kind of dangling there, but it's pinned on. And here is what the piece looked like when I had sewn both sides. So right here and on the other side is going to be the turquoise pieces of fabric, and I know one side is bigger than the other, but I'm going to kind of cover up the large piece of red fabric with some turquoise fabric so both sides can be even in width. And so here I'm just unraveling the turquoise fabric, and I'm going to measure it up to my shorts just like I did with the red one, and I'm going to cut it where I think it looks best. So this one is going to be the whole length of the shorts, and it's going to be 3 inches in width. And both of these pieces are going to be the same size because I want everything to be symmetrical. This part is optional, but I'm going to be using these rhinestones to mimic the dangly bits that Jennie has coming off of her shorts. So for this one, I'm going to lay these all along the edge where the turquoise part is going to lay, and I'm just sewing these in using a basic needle and thread like I have been this whole time. And for these rhinestones, I don't exactly know where I bought these from. If I did, I would link them in the description below, but genuinely I have no idea because I've had them for so long sitting in my craft box that I have no idea where I got these, but I'm sure sure you can find something similar at any sewing place or maybe just on Amazon if you look hard enough. And this is what they look like after I have finished sewing them. And I'm going to fold over that edge because we don't want any raw edges showing whenever we're sewing. And I'm just going to stitch this all along, pinning it in place. Of course, it makes it 100 times easier to sew when you have a pin. And I'm just going to begin my basic needle and thread stitching. And here is what my shorts look like after I have done one side of the turquoise piece. I always like to try on my shorts periodically to make sure that I'm sewing it right and that it's looking right. So I think that's important to keep trying on your piece to make sure everything is going good. And then of course I'm just repeating the same thing I did to the other side to this one with the rhinestone bits. And then I'm just going to cut it off where I knotted it, and then I'm going to attach my turquoise fabric, and I'm just going to do a basic stitch all along it to make sure everything is secure and nicely placed. And this is what my shorts look like after I have attached everything to the front part. And now we are just going to flip this over so we can continue on the turquoise pieces in the back. If you guys don't know, I will pull up a picture of Jennie's shorts. So the turquoise kind of stops halfway in the back of her shorts. So we're going to stop this fabric wherever the pointy part of the pocket is. So of course there's no real fancy measuring to how I cut fabric. I just kind of lay it on there and cut it where I think it looks best, but I make sure to make the two pieces the exact same size because I want everything to be symmetrical when I sew it on there. So I'm just going to sew right along the seam of the shorts, and this was a little bit tricky because I was sewing right on the seam and it was kind of hard to get the needle through all of that fabric, but I did it anyways, and I did the exact same thing to the other side of the shorts. And for these ones I decided to stop the sequin part right in the middle of the pocket, so this made it kind of hard for me to keep a functional pocket on there, so I just ended up sewing right through that. So of course the pocket is not functional and you can't really put anything in it, which is kind of disappointing, but I'm a beginner sewer and so I didn't want to do anything that was super challenging for me. I didn't want to ruin the pocket or ruin the pants, so I just sewed right through it, and I think it ended up looking fine. And of course I sewed through the pocket on the other side as well, always making sure to tie a knot whenever you're finished and to cut off the excess string. And so this is what the shorts looked like in the back when I was done sewing the two turquoise pieces on it, and I didn't add little dangly bits to the back like I did to the front. And this is what the final piece looks like. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and I will see you all next time. Bye guys!